Star Wars Battlefront is an awesome role-playing game. Not like that, let me explain. As I sat down to write a video called Battlefront Hate ... I realized there is enough hate around this game and the games industry in general. Enough complaining, enough criticism, and while I still plan on making that video eventually, right now I want to talk about the best thing in Battlefront. Now, I'm not the world's biggest Star Wars fan, but I've seen the movies, played some games, but hell, I've probably watched the Red Letter Media prequel reviews more than the actual films. Either way, Star Wars has always been around me one way or another since I was little, and that's probably true for most people. When I was little, I actually remember going to my local library, and instead of renting books, I would rent movies. The library had VHS copies of the Star Wars trilogy. That's right, trilogy. You're dead to me. Dead! And every time we went, I tried to rent one of them because they were the only good films there. Then I learned they had PC games you could rent, and what do you know? They had Star Wars games. These games were like the Wild West, bringing them home and seeing if they would even run on my old Pentium 2 computer. There were a few Star Wars games like the old X-Wing and TIE Fighter games, and even a copy of Battle for Naboo that I could never get to run. Anyways, why am I rambling on about my lack of literature when I was younger? Well, it's this time that I enjoyed gaming in the Star Wars universe and would get lost in the idea of being in one of my favorite movies. As I grew up, this continued. Super Nintendo gave me Super Star Wars, GameCube had Rogue Squadron 2, PC, Jedi Academy, all great times. And then closer to the topic, Battlefront 2, which I played on the original Xbox. I used to love Battlefront 2, it was amazing being part of the epic Star Wars battles I had only watched until then. But the game wasn't perfect, as many people seem to think it was. Rose-colored glasses, rose-colored glasses, rose-colored glasses were lots of fun. Rose-colored glasses, rose-colored glasses, rose-colored glasses were lots of fun back then. But it was fun for the time. And now we have a new Battlefront game 10 years later, and what do I think about this game? I'm having just as much fun with it as I did the originals. One thing that's persisted with all Star Wars games I've played is I've played them for fun. Not KDs, not for competition, but for fun in a universe that I love. Now, there are plenty of legitimate complaints about Battlefront, and I won't deny that, but that could be said about any of the games I mentioned. Many of our favorite games can have major issues, but we still love them because they provided some kind of memorable experience that we enjoyed. Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorite games ever. It's not a great game, I can see that now, but I still love it. We all have games like that, I'm sure. Guys, I know it's a cliche, but leave a comment below letting me know the games that you guys love, even though you know they're not perfect. I'm sure everyone has at least one. Go ahead, post it right now, I'll wait. Think back to a time you enjoyed something that might not have been perfect, but was still fun. Okay, 10, 9, 8, yeah, I'm doing one of those things like literally in the middle of the video, like, yeah, pause the video, go watch this and come back. And then at the end, I'm gonna use the cheesy line of like, oh good, okay, you're back. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, hurry, 2. And now my phone's going off, it's ruining this bit. Alright, let's just get back to the video. I'm not saying it's wrong to criticize a game because heck, I do that all the time. But it's important to not let a game's flaws completely block out what great parts there are. Now that that's cleared up, the best thing in Star Wars Battlefront to me is role-playing. What? Huh? What? This game has tapped into something I haven't felt since the early days of playing Star Wars games, and that's my ability to just get lost in a game's universe. When I play games these days, I usually look at every round or match and my score, points, KD, but when I was younger, it was never about that. Games were a place I could get lost in, living in another world, experiencing impossible things. That's a feeling I get in the new Battlefront, just being a part of a Star Wars battle between the Empire and Rebels. Maybe I get lost in it so easy because these two sides are so well known. In a game like Battlefield 4, I don't have any allegiance. Every match just throws you on some random team, and that team doesn't have a backstory or a cause. But in Battlefront, you know what's going on. The rebels are fighting back against the oppressive Empire for freedom from their terrible reign. Hell, I think I enjoy playing the rebel side more because we're the underdogs. In a previous video, I jokingly said the beta had balancing issues because the rebels lose in the movie, and that's not as ridiculous actually as it sounds. I've seen people complain about how only one side has vehicles, the Empire, but I don't see this as a problem. I see this as the way it should be. It makes sense in the game's context. These design decisions make me think DICE knew this game wasn't about the KDs, but about the Star Wars experience. For example, I recently got the game Star Wars Empire at War, a real-time strategy game based in the Star Wars universe. And I noticed the rebel side had a bunch of tanks and stuff we never saw in the movies. And why is that? For balancing. You can't have two teams that are unbalanced, so just make up some tanks, whatever. Now, another way to go about this is balance the game, but keep the experience intact, like in Battlefront. I've never been frustrated by the lack of vehicles on the rebel side because they aren't too difficult to take down. If your team works together and you bring the right loadout, it's not a big problem problem, and that's the type of stuff that actually draws me in. Having to think about the side I'm on and what I'm going to be facing as either the rebels or the Empire gets me invested in the team. There's plenty of times I've just stayed behind cover in the trenches of Hoth, laying down covering fire for my team. And because at that moment it's more about the experience of the game, not the match. I've even given up some advantages for immersion. I always used to play the old Battlefront games in third person and was excited when I heard this game would have them too. But as I played, I found myself switching to first person more and more because I felt more in the action that way. Giving up my tactical advantage for immersion might sound crazy, but it's what felt right. To me, Battlefront isn't a game for esports or to play seriously, and I don't think it was designed that way either. I'm sure plenty of people will leave a comment saying, "Gee, how much did EA have to pay you to suck them off like this?" $2.6 million, but that's not the point. It's not about that stupid fanboy crap, it's not about defending anything. We all have different taste, and that's fine, but I'm not going to go with the trend of hate Battlefront, get the pitchforks. I'm going to judge it for myself. I guess what I'm trying to say with this video is sometimes it's okay to just have fun. The reason we all started gaming in our youth, unless we were forced to, which I highly doubt, was because it was fun. A way to experience different worlds, different places, and nowadays I feel like gamers have somewhat lost that spark. Maybe it's just me getting older, but I never want to lose that imagination that can make even a decent game amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just wanted to do something about Battlefront, and there was so much negativity going around about the game. I figured let's focus on something positive, what the game does right, and what I like about it. You know, you guys might disagree, and that's fine. Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Like, what do you guys like about the game? What do you dislike? Let's have an actual thoughtful conversation about it, and not what most conversations about this game have broken down into as, shut up! Anyways, thanks again for watching. If you guys want to support the show, please hit that like button, leave a comment below, and check us out on Twitch if you want to have more culture shock. I'll see you guys in the next video.